Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Textbook Knowledge for Everyday People. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about macro environmental factors. macro environmental factors. I'm always going to break it down in layman language so that you can understand, right? So, macro environmental factors could be described as the bigger picture, the big things that are out there and beyond your control as a business owner that you cannot really envisage and plan for when you're planning the everyday running of your business. But you should be mindful that these things exist and changes within that environment can impact your business significantly, right? Now, I'm going to list out certain environmental factors that you must be aware of. These are things that every business, any and every sustainable business make plans for, and you need to take note as well. Now, there's a framework that is used in business called the PESTEL, PESTEL, PESTEL. And then we always refer to it as a PESTEL analysis when we are planning ahead. So we analyze the macro environmental situations by adopting the PESTEL framework. Now, this is an acronym, and I am going to break it down even further. The P stands for political. Now, there are lots of political factors that impact your business, whether you like it, know it, or not, right? So, political issues could be change of government. For instance, let's take the United States of America as a brilliant case in point. From the from the ousting of the Democratic Party to now the return of the Republicans, with Donald Trump coming in, lots of different policies changed within the country. This would impact a lot of businesses. For instance, TikTok, right? There's a conversation about if TikTok would be banned in the US or if it would not be banned in the US. So, as a business, TikTok would have to consider the political terrain and how it will affect their business, right? Now, let me move on to E, economic, right? Economic situations, for instance, could be about interest rates, right? Exchange rates. So, for instance, naira to the dollar, naira to the pound, if you're a Nigerian. So, all of a sudden, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power and the exchange rates just hiked up. And so, for a typical business owner in Nigeria who imports from China and probably spends the dollar and used to exchange in naira for 500, so one dollar would have been equivalent to 500 naira. All of a sudden, $1 became 1,500 naira. This will impact business because you may not have envisaged to be able to plan ahead to say, oh, in the next 4-5 months, the dollar rate is just going to skyrocket overnight, right? So now let's go to the S, social issues. Now, people are evolving, cultures are changing, age demographics are adapting to different kinds of patterns or behaviors. So these are things that could impact your business. All of a sudden, young people are deciding that they want to go into mobile first. Everything they want to purchase has to be online. And so the social behavior of a certain age demographics could impact your business. T, technology, right? The fast adoption of tech will also impact your business. Now, AI is here to stay, right? ChatGPT is here to stay. Robotics is the future. Automation is the future. The value chain is changing because now people are going into automated ways of enhancing their business and their productivity and their margins, right? They want to use less of human labor and rely more on technology. So what does this mean? Your business has to be agile and able to move quickly with the change or the adoption of technology worldwide, right? Now, E, environment. Sustainability conversations are now a big thing. Any company that wants to stay in business must have a sustainability policy, and they must discuss about how their products, their raw materials is being sourced, how their labor is being engaged, all of that kind of stuff. So if you do not have these things embedded, or how your production even affects the environment, are you trying to reduce your carbon footprint and all of that stuff? Because now the United Nations are making a big conversation that companies must practice responsible sourcing and sustainable business models. So are you compliant, right? Now, we've talked about the PEST, and now is the L, which is legal. There are legal frameworks that guide the practice or the professional environment or sector where you operate, and these things are being regulated and updated on a daily basis. So you need to also be updated to stay competitive. Now, I've given you a quick run through of the PESTEL and the macro environment, and let me now bring it home for you. While you are wondering, how does this affect me? These are the things that your competitors who are staying in business and moving from year 1 to year 2 all the way to year 10, these are the things that are at play within their everyday strategy and within their strategic meetings, because they go and do environmental scanning and try to observe the changes within all of these things. Now, sometimes you may not know that it's going to come, like nobody will just wake up and believe that there's going to be a war between Russia and Ukraine, but that has impacted oil prices, the movement of goods, and a lot of things. So companies now start to create buffers, or companies now start to have plan Bs should these things happen. Natural disasters are part of things that happen in the environment. So if there's a tsunami, or if there's a storm or a hurricane or whatever, what are mitigating plans in place for if there's any incident? What are the things that we can put in place when people now start moving from analog completely to digital? How is the company situated to adapt quickly? What is the agility and personality of this organization? These are things that you need to think about when you're an SME and you are trying to build a sustainable model for your business, right? So I'm still looking into my inbox, and every time you guys send me a message and tell me to speak on this, I pick the topic and then I do a video like this, right? I hope this has been impactful to 1 or 2 people out there. Keep sending me those topics and I'll break it down. If there's anything else you'd like me to expand on, let me know. But I'm going to expand on macro environmental analysis by also telling you that there's micro as well. And then we're also going to speak about stakeholder management and how it affects your bottom line and how it affects corporate culture, amongst other things, right? So if this video has been impactful, please share it and follow me and give me some more feedback so that we can make this work, right? But you know what I always say, till we do this again,